one rib, pour out the Jameson for ancestors to swig.
You rescue me yet again. You put me first everywhere. You make me feel better than the mother dudes. You rescue me yet again. You put me first everywhere. You make me feel better than the mother dudes.
They better than the Polacks. Polacks think they better than the Jews. Jews think they better than the Anglo-Saxons. Anglo-Saxons think they God. Blonde hair, blue eye, you can't tell them a damn thing. But guess what? When it comes to white supremacy, we gonna put that to the side for a minute. Let's get back in control of the world, go back to fighting later. Same thing the Asians do, same thing the Arabs do. But when it comes to black folk, we not mature enough to say, wait a minute, y'all. This fighting we doing is gonna leave us all behind. We got to get over our petty differences, brothers and sisters. And one of the first petty differences we got to get over is the belief that the only way we can get forward is if we all believe in the same religion.
That's right.
We ain't got to all believe in the same religion. For what? You Christian, I respect that. I ain't got a problem with you. You Muslim, I respect that. I ain't got a problem with you. You Jehovah's Witness, I respect that. I ain't got a problem with you. Stop starting to watch towers under my daughter. If you Catholic, I ain't got a problem with you. You Nation of Islam, that's all right. You Moor, that's all right. You God and Earth, that's all right. You Nawapian, that's all right. You practice voodoo, that's all right. Sent to the Apollo, Lukumi, Rasta, Ifa, Akan, whatever the system, that's all right. You got a right to build your relationship with divine consciousness any kind of way you feel. Who's my number 4? Queen.
I'm actually going to pass it to my sister after we do.
Okay, so y'all set me out.
No.
Go ahead.
All right, Dr. Umar, my name is Diane. Resident here in Kansas City.
This the
and I am one of those
LGBTQ
ugly
chick.
black feminists that you are not a fan of. So I appreciate you coming here to Kansas City, and I figure if I'm going to have something to say, I'm going to say it to your face. So I do appreciate you addressing my concerns regarding anti-LGBT rhetoric and anti-feminist rhetoric. So I appreciate you saying that up front. So my question is, the exact definition of hate speech is speech that offends, threatens, insults groups based on race, color, religion, natural origin, sexual orientation, disability, or other traits. That is the definition of hate speech. We can say all day long that we don't hate a particular type of person, but I want to know, how is that rhetoric any different than white folks that say that black people are thugs, are mentally not together, that we are unintelligent? How is it possible? How is that not different as a black man?
You hear people in the background
saying that
like,
black feminists
really,
are ugly,
man?
saying that queer people are, you said it earlier, I can see you on tape. How is that different than saying that gay people are molested, that we are pedophiles? How is that any different than white people? He has said that online, and I have the video. Yes, you have. No, you did say that right. So my question is, how is this anti-woman, anti-gay rhetoric any different than white folks who say that black people are dumb, that we're thugs? Homophobia is
very,
hate
very
speech,
different.
and
Very
anti-womanism
different.
is hate speech.
May I respond?
You can.
All right. Now, first, we got to take the emotionalism out of it. We won't be able to dialogue. Okay? I'm going to respond, but for the sake of time, I'm going to answer everybody's question. And if you like, when I'm done, me and you can have a private, respectful conversation. Okay? Now, okay. Well, this one I'm going to go, and then we can come back to it. If we want to have that conversation. Number 1. And because I got ADHD, I didn't remember everything, but I think I can get to most of the highlights of what you said. First, you said homophobia.
Yes. Oh, you're going to tell me that it's a mental illness from an outdated DSM-3 that was abolished in 1973? Don't try it.
It's like history is trying to be abolished.
DSM-5?
This is the DSM-5.
Oh, that we're mentally ill. Go ahead.
Right, like you won't even let him talk. Like this is what we're talking about. How can we?
I just want to hear you answer the question.
How can we have any dialogue?
Like, we just gotta hear you.
that homosexuality was a mental illness in this book until 1974. But since you brought it up, I'll start with that. If you read the American Psychiatric Association position paper on the removal of homosexuality from this book as a mental illness, and I have it, it's available online, it clearly says that we did not change this classification because we had sufficient evidence to prove that people were born this way. So one of the questions that got to be dealt with from the Eurocentric mental health framework that we're dealing with this issue in, why was it removed? Now, having said that, I picked up the book to ask you on what page is the mental illness homophobia.
It's not a mental illness. It's a disease, just like racism a disease.
Who defined homophobia as a disease? This is the authority of mental illness. Where is the diagnosis homophobia?
It's not a diagnosis. It's a state of being. It's a state of being.
Phobia.
It's a state of being.
A phobia is in this book.
Okay, so hate speech
And a
against gay
phobia,
people.
let me
Okay.
phobia is fear. Simple phobia, any type of claustrophobia, it's a fear. You said homophobia. I'm not afraid of nobody. I've been asked by homosexuals and lesbians to have conversations with them on their radio shows. I normally accept the invitation for respectful dialogue. I don't run from the opportunity if it's going to be respectful. Now, I stand by my position as a psychologist, as an educator, as a therapist for normally 20 years. And in 95% of the cases of gay and lesbians I personally know and met and work with, most of them were victims of sexual abuse as children. I'm speaking not what some white person wrote in some research study. I'm telling you what I know. Amongst black folk, it is a pathology born of childhood sexual victimization. Denial is at the root of all mental illness. It's easy to say I was born like this, so I don't have to deal with the pain that triggered it. Now,
Damn. I had trouble with that with myself.
I never said that because you are gay, you want to prey on children sexually. Now, do you have a strong case of homosexuals and lesbians who prey on children? Look at the Roman Catholic Church. We don't have to debate whether or not folks who are sexually confused who may also prefer children. But am I going to wholesale indict the whole population and say because you're gay you want to molest children? I've never said that. I've never said that.
I've never heard him
will
say that. I've
I'm
never heard
very
him say that.
responsible with my words.
Never heard him
Now,
say that.
You drew a comparison that I want to disagree with. You said, how is me disagreeing with homosexuality, how is that any different from the white man saying black folks was dumb and stupid and this and that? You know what the difference is? That was lies about us. That could be proven. You're wrong. I don't denigrate or downgrade black gays and lesbians. Why would I do that? Do you realize black gay men have one of the highest suicide rates in America?
Because a speech like a what you put out to the community. Speech like a what you put out to the community.
If what you say
Shame
is true,
and silence is why people don't come out.
What about before he was even born? What about before he was even born?
Thank you, sir. Thank
Well,
you.
okay, what about 100 years ago, 200 years ago?
What about it?
There's no argument.
I'm asking you. I mean,
There were.
but you said him.
There have been,
So what
homophobia has been around
about
for
what was
centuries.
going on before he was born?
He inherited it and he decided to continue the
How?
conversation.
Like, this
Talk
is...
offline.
Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me.
I'm jumping in just right quick because, you know, I don't like the fact that you jumped up and you tried to attack him and then you won't let him respond. That's really what's killing me. Now, I know it's people talking, it's other people talking in the background too, but her specifically, she keeps trying to jump in and say little things, which I'm like, yo, you don't respect the man. You know what I'm saying? Which, once again, I've never heard him say anything about homosexuals being pedophiles or anything of that nature. So, but in my opinion, for some reason, the LGBTQ community seems to be a very, emotional community. Like, you can't say anything bad about anybody in that community or they're going to have a problem with it. But the fact of the matter is, everybody in this world gets talked about in some way, shape, or form. And most people just deal with it. They don't have a whole community behind them to say, oh, he called me nigger, so, black power. No, it's like, yo, live your life. Like, okay, he called you nigger. As long as it ain't stop your check from coming, or as long as, you ain't fuck him up or get arrested or something, like, who cares? Like, we just want to keep it moving. But I feel like the LGBTQ community, they don't even understand that, first off, there's two of those communities. There's a white LGBTQ community and a black LGBTQ community. And once again, the white LGBTQ community has the white demographic behind them, let's say. And I would say the black LGBTQ community has some of the black community behind them, but not all, because of the way that they handle themselves, the way that they attack black people, the way that they attack, individuals that disagree